Well, here it comes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fourth and Ward. I'm Coach Adam Wardlaw. My brother, Coach Jack Wardlaw, is in the recording with us today. Jack, you doing all right?
Good, man. Good, man. Just coming back from a little weekend trip to Washington, D.C.
Oh, how was that?
Good friend of mine got married up there. Wedding was awesome. The only issue is the flight up there. And if you've flown Southwest, you may know what I'm talking about. But first off, it's like a 6:50 a.m. flight. Get up early, fly out of Greenville, though, so it's close to me. Not bad. Southwest Airlines, if you don't know, is like just pandemonium getting on there. There's no seat assignments. You just kind of first come, first serve. You get a boarding position, and first on the plane gets first pick and that kind of thing. All right. So I paid for, not priority boarding, but the first few slots. Cause I like to have a little room. I hate flying. I'm always uncomfortable. So I get on there and I go straight for the exit row, aisle seat. Right. And I expect somebody to take the window seat. Not a big deal. This huge, big dude, built like me, and I'm not small, takes the window seat. That's cool. Got a middle seat between us. We're comfortable. Everybody's good. And like 5 seconds after they make the announcement, like boarding doors closed, like we're about to take off. In my mind, I'm like, all right, I can relax and spread out. Got a movie to watch. No, I look down the aisle, and here she comes, baby. This woman who is also built like me comes strolling down, right? And we make eye contact, and that's kind of when I knew it's over. It's a wrap.
Yeah. She knows where she's going. You can already tell where she's going.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. So she walks up, do you mind if I take that seat? And in my mind, you have that inner dialogue, and then you have what you actually say. In my mind, I'm like, no, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Look at you. Look at me. Like, no hate. I'm just saying, like, we're not going to be comfortable. There's a skinny girl right there. You can fit comfortably there. But in my, what I actually say is, yeah, sure. It's all yours. This woman sits down. And when I say she sprawls out comfortably, and so I don't like touching people. And so I'm like this for like 2-hour flight is miserable, man. Miserable. And I was, kind of ruined the morning vibe, ruined the good trip vibe, but it turned around quick because the wedding was good. Congrats to y'all. I'm not going to say your name, but congrats to y'all. It was a beautiful wedding.
Was it like a quick trip, or were you able to enjoy Washington, D.C. a little bit?
Yeah. So I left Friday morning because the rehearsal dinner was that night, and hung around in the hotel, took a nap, whatever. And my girlfriend was meeting me there that evening because she has, they had getting ready for the EOC exams, all that stuff. So she didn't want to leave. Met me down there
It's that
later
time
that
of the
night.
year.
Yeah. And we, Saturday was kind of I was actually a groomsman in the wedding. So busy Saturday for me, but we got to go out Sunday and kind of see the monuments and stuff like that. And so that was good. It's always good to get a little trip, and I'll tell you what, speaking of that, I got a real issue with how these field trips are kind of organized or arranged. Okay. So like in 7th grade, we went to Washington, D.C. I don't remember what class, but we went.
Advanced art. I think I went on that same trip.
Right.
Like
So
at a different year.
yeah. So you go as a 7th grader, you could care less about half of that stuff. Like you're just like,
yeah, you're worried about like maybe two things when you're a 7th grader. Like,
yeah. And it's like, you're worried about who's going to sit beside you on the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
can I hold
anyway.
hands with this girl?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but as I was going through these monuments the other day, I'm like, actually taking it all in, enjoying it. You get pick where you get to go and, see all this stuff, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start a petition, that we need to bring, move field trips up to high school, and I'll gladly chaperone any field trip. I'm happy to go. Not that I don't love my kids. I'm just saying, but
Can't beat
no,
a good
yeah,
field trip, man.
no, you can't beat it. Did you go to space camp?
I went to space camp. I think I was in 4th grade. My kids love to hear this story because they are picturing like me in a rocket ship going to camp.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, we're in Alabama. Like it's a totally
Huntsville,
different,
Alabama, baby.
Yeah, we're, the only thing I can think of that was like of note when we crossed the border in Alabama, because I think it might have been the first time I ever went into the state, was one, you could buy like fireworks and 30 packs of beer all in the same store.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like a solid place to live.
Yeah.
No, Space Camp was a good time though.
I loved Space Camp, like top tier field trip. And it's not what you think. It's a lot of cool stuff. You get to see shuttles and that I forget what it's called, the gyro zero gravity thing where they just
Yeah,
spin you
yeah.
around. It's all cool, right? We got back and I will never forget this. It was part of launch, wasn't it? It was launch
Yeah,
class, right?
yeah.
And our
The
teacher Miss
GT, whatever little program that we were in, which is a ripoff, by the way. We had to miss
100%.
recess. Had to
Yeah,
miss recess for what? To go learn how to use chopsticks. Like it
right.
was, yeah. I'd rather go
Origami.
get,
Yeah,
origami. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd rather be getting 400 yards and pick up football out on the
100%.
playground.
And I'll tell you what else got me like that was strings. So I played the violin in elementary school. And the only
You're a
reason
Renaissance man.
the only reason I signed up for it is because they had like a big demo. The whole school was there, like an assembly in elementary school, kind of like trying to get people into it.
Yeah.
And so these kids are running around, the CAFA auditorium gym multiplex, whatever you call it in elementary school, playing the
One size fits
SpongeBob.
all.
Yeah, playing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song on the violins, and I'm like, yo, this is awesome. Like, I want to do that. You have to miss recess and go play the violin. And I'm like, and I did it for a year, didn't give it up, but just thought
And
about
didn't you
all
want
those.
to play the? Didn't you want to play the cello, not the violin? Didn't
Yeah, I
you want
wanted
to
to
do the
play the
cello?
big cello thing, and I
Can you
wish I
imagine
would have.
trying to tote that thing around?
That would have been terrible. And I wish I would have stuck with it now that I'm older, but recess football is a little more important. But
But
no,
yeah,
I remember back to Space Camp. We got back, and I remember our launch teacher, Miss Sapp,
one of the goats.
right? And we were talking. I remember me and my buddy were like at her computer. She was telling us something, showing us something. I don't know. And we were talking. Me and my buddy were talking about field trips we took, and like, oh, this is my favorite. Oh yeah, this was cool. This was cool. And it was all Space Camp going back and forth.
Yeah.
And she turns and looks at us, a little fourth graders, and goes, well, Space Camp is over, so get over it. And I'm just like,
Man,
I'm
like
sorry.
what? I mean, yeah, had a great time on the field trip. Like, so shoot me. Like, I mean,
Now
could-
that I'm a teacher myself, I kind of get it. There's times where it's just like, I need you away from me right now. Like, just give me some space.
yeah. In hindsight, like, there's those days where it's like, I love each and every one of y'all. Care about you.
Yeah.
Probably put myself on the line if some ever went down. But right now, I need y'all just to
Just
stay
give me
6
some
feet away.
space. What do they call
Yeah,
now?
just-
Velcro students? Where they're just
yeah,
right
they
there.
just stick to you right there on your hip.
Love you,
Yeah,
but
there's those days where you just need a little bit of space. Like, especially like spring comes around. Like, we started spring ball a month ago. We just finished it up. We can talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, the whole time spring football is probably the most you've been outside because you're coming right out of winter, right? And just the allergies. So like every other day, I'm just battling demons to wake up in the morning, hawking up
Yeah.
the lung and all that.
yeah.
And then you get in
Yeah.
the classroom, you're like, guys, we got a project, and I'm gonna chug water over here and try to flush these loogies down because
Yeah.
I'm going through it.
Yeah. No, that's like now a little different for me because PE, we can go outside, run a mile, or go
True,
outside, do soccer, whatever it may be. But I have to be careful because, I don't have really any hair anymore. And, I'm not going to wear a hat at school. I went out there one day. We were out there maybe 30 minutes. And I come back in. I'm like, man, my head is still hot. I had gotten sunburn in like 30 minutes on the top of my head.
Yeah, you got to ease into it.
So I bought this, special sunscreen put on every day just to protect the dome. Yeah. No, the allergies are the worst.
Yeah,
Terrible.
the first time going out spring football, I was like, I got to go ahead and start working on that coaching tan. So I go out in a cutoff shirt, and it's the first time that like my arm above the elbow had seen the sun, since last July probably. And yeah, I got toasted, and we were
Yeah.
only out there like an hour and a half. I got toasted; it was rough.
Yeah.
But you guys started up spring ball this past week. How's that going so far?
Good. We still got some spring sports still in play, so we're still missing a few, but it's just good to be back out there. We got a good group of kids, a really great young group that I'm very excited about, and I'm glad that we get to have them out there with us. These are still 8th graders that will be 9th graders. It's nice to have them out there and kind of get them ready before we
Yeah,
even,
yeah.
start our summer stuff. But It's good, man. Yesterday we we had our normal practice, and I looked on the script, and we don't have helmets or shoulder pads on. We're just, shirt and shorts out here. And I see that it says one-on-ones, and if you've seen a football script, you know what I'm talking about. Across the entire, split by position, across the whole row, it just said one-on-ones. And I looked at, I think it was
All
our
right.
linebackers coach. I'm like, we're doing one-on-ones with nothing on, like helmets, shoulder pad, like linemen, D linemen, and O linemen going at it. No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what it was is, just something fun, and something competitive, just to kind of, get people excited. We just did one-on-ones, like routes versus wide receiver corner one-on-ones, but we let the linemen do it as well with their
Well,
own
that's
group.
always a good time. Yeah, where you let them mix it up, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
that,
that's always a good time.
the kids liked it, and they all think the D linemen, O linemen, all think they're like the next,
Yeah, like we do
five-star
Fat Man
corner.
7-on-7, and you'll get literally the biggest guy on the team, and might be going against a D tackle or something. Biggest offensive line, biggest defensive line, or whatever, and it
Yeah.
is the slowest like slant route, and it's the most upper body movement, but like no ground being covered with the
Yeah.
lower body.
No, yeah, for sure. Like they'll come over, try to like team up with the quarterback, like, here's what I'm gonna do, drawing on their hand.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay. I go and watch, and this takes this dude 10 seconds to even start, his route to where he's wanting the quarterback to throw it. And I'm like, all right, well, if the quarterback has that much time, then, that's fine. But like it took you 10 seconds, to run a 5-yard out. I don't know what we're doing here, but whatever. No, it was fun. It's good just to get kids excited, kids having fun out there, man. It's good.
well, I remember we were talking with Coach McLean last week from BHP, and if anybody hadn't listened to that episode yet, it's a pretty good little trip down memory lane. Yeah, he was talking about y'all's middle school teams, y'all's 8th grade group. Apparently, he's got some talent in it. So, like you said, it's probably good to kind of see some of those guys you might be relying on down the road kind of get mixed in and see what a high school practice is like. And,
Yeah.
how do you kind of keep that in mind? How does it work with y'all's feeder, like in terms of the systems they run, like on offense and defense? Do they run the same stuff and so it translates well, or does it kind of like start from scratch? How do y'all do all that?
It's kind of starting from scratch. They're different. Granted, this is only our second year at
Yeah.
Palmetto as a staff. And so, that may be something we kind of look at down the road. But for now, it's, obviously some of it's kind of simplified. A lot of, on defense, there's only so much you can do that's
Yeah.
different. So on my side of the ball it's not too bad. The main thing is just teaching terminology. And if I say something, I think they would understand it, but they don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Like if I say
Yeah.
you're in a 2 technique and you're going A gap, they're like, so I'm right here. I'm like, head up. I'm like, yeah, just look at him in the eyes and match up. You're in the right spot. Okay. And you're going right
Yeah.
here. You kind of have to adjust that, but they're young and, it's not their fault. But it's, I like our middle school coaching staff. They're great people. And I think they do a great job of, you know, promoting their program, which in turn helps us when they get older.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah. I think we kind of went through a similar boat like that first year, right? And we do it pretty routinely every year now just because of, you're placing guys on your middle school staff and stuff like that. But do like a little clinic for them, right? Where
yeah,
OCDC kind of are telling them terminology and how we kind of set the front if we're talking about defense. Because and it's really the basic cable stuff that we hope that by the time they're done with 8th grade, they're able to do. And so when we start freshmen, it's kind of, we can have a little faster start, but you still have some of those that moved in or transferred in, they're from another school, or they just moved to town and haven't played football before. Like you get all that. So it's kind of, that first start of high school football, it's like you said, some kids got it all figured out, know what to do. And then some
yeah.
kids don't even know what a football is till they walk out there. So it's
And
an interesting battle.
yeah, and it can be frustrating at times when you're having to adjust when you have X amount of time, X amount of periods with this group, my group, and I have varying skill levels. And it's the same thing with teaching. You're having to
Yeah.
adjust for everybody in that class. But you have a guy who
Differentiation.
exactly. So you're having a guy who knows what you're talking about, is wondering why we're going so slow, is wondering why I'm going through all this stuff. I'm like, well, little Timmy over here doesn't even know what I'm talking about. So like I'm
He's got
having to
his
kind of
he's got his knee pads in
yeah,
his thigh
like
pad slot.
yeah.
God.
But
Yeah, we had
it's
that
fun.
reminds me, we had a kid, like we're in spring ball with our freshmen, and we just finished up with them this morning, finished up with the older guys yesterday afternoon. But yeah, so these guys have already gone through a whole football season. Like this is now like we consider you an upperclassman. We're trying to add stuff, do all this and that. This kid came out to the stretch lines, a lineman, literally had his knee pads on top of his thigh pads and didn't like got all the way to the stretch lines before he even realized like, oh, I screwed this up. Like it literally looked like he had like these tumors growing off his thighs because the way those pads were sitting on top. But he had no clue till he gets out there and gets ragged on by his teammates. And of course, we were cracking jokes on him too, just because.
Yeah, I mean
Good
it's
lord, like how do you screw that up? Like,
yeah, that's bad. And
goodness,
that's just rough. And it goes back to like the kid we talked about a while back that came out to practice in just a girdle. It's like, how do you not know? Like, how do you
like man,
not?
put some britches on, man. Like, what
Yeah,
are we doing out here?
that
Like
has to
making us
feel
look
wrong.
bad. Yeah, like you got to feel pretty exposed. You go out there, like
Yeah.
especially these girls nowadays are form fitting, right? They're kind of all
Yeah.
compression and all that. So yeah, I guess you're good with just showing off what you got. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Good for you, man.
sheesh, yeah, we wrapped up spring ball. It's kind of, but y'all get a few less days. I think you said y'all get 10 days, right?
Right.
Yeah, we get about 15 practices where we can work with them stuff. So just finished that up fully. Finished with our freshmen this morning. That was their last padded day. And then with the older guys in the afternoon, trying to get some maxes on these guys before we start summer. Next week's the last week of school for us, so trying to get them all tested, get all the maxes in, because then we go and we turn that over to the company that runs our summer strength conditioning, and that's when they build the maxes out and the workout charts and stuff.
Yeah.
Try to give them just as much up to date stuff as possible. But yeah, we're winding it down, man. Meanwhile, you guys are kind of. Did y'all get to put on the pads yet, or?
So that's the thing is once we put the pads on, the 8th graders can no longer be out there with us. And so it's kind of you're trying to maximize your time with those younger kids,
Yeah.
but also try to get some good work with your older guys with some pads on. But
Especially if it's a group that you guys are, super excited about and, really want to work with and get them incorporated. Like, yeah, as long as you can kind of keep them mixed in, that definitely holds its own weight. But yeah, you just can't beat when the pads come on, you hear that first kind
can't,
of pop a little bit. Like, it just really gets the juices going.
man, if it was up to me, of course, I'd like to have the 8th graders out there too. But if it was up to me, man, pad up as soon as we can and just let's go. But it is what it is. It's a balancing act. You kind of have to, do the best you can
Yeah,
with what you got.
absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing you talked about Washington, D.C., and my kids are about to come storming out, so we might pick them up on the mic, but that's always a good time. As long as they don't go cussing. Oh, man, side note. So we went to a Post Malone concert Friday, and Post Malone seems like the absolute nicest guy you could ever meet, right? I think that's kind of what everybody thinks about him and stuff. But man, dude loves to say the F word.
Yeah.
And I say if you were playing a drinking game that involved how many times he says the F word, like and you take a sip or whatever, you would be like passed out before too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we go through all that. We told him like, look, if you're singing the song or wherever we're at this concert, we ain't gonna hear it. Kind of. I already know they know the words. I got a record that's got all of his diamond hits on it, so the kids
Yeah.
play it every morning. So I know they know the right lyrics. But we get back. And gosh, we got back. He did a long set. I mean, we got back from AT&T Stadium at probably 1:15. So getting the
Mm.
kids in bed, it's like 1:30 in the morning. Oh, dude, yeah, we were burning the midnight oil. But we get all the kids situated. We think they're passed out because they fell asleep on the way home and all that. And one of my kids comes running in. My middle child, he comes in and he says, "Dad, Benny said, what the F?" And he's my youngest. So he's out there dropping cuss words in the bedroom when nobody's listening, I guess. But so we had to have a little reminder that, dude, just because you hear it doesn't mean, you need to go and say it. But it was a grand old time.
Yeah, but
I was
Post
just
Malone said
happy.
it, Dad. Come on. Post Malone said it. I could say it.
And I can't act like that when I was singing the songs at the concert, I wasn't
Yeah,
kind
I
of saying
mean,
it too. You're at a
yeah.
concert, you're having a good time. I wasn't having as good a time as there was this older lady about 2 rows in front of us. I mean, she had to be in her 70s. She was old, Jack.
Maybe she
And
was playing that drinking game you were talking about.
from the moment Post Malone came on to the moment the fireworks were going at the end, she was up dancing, singing every song,
Good for
dropping every
her.
F-bomb.
Good
That's
for
what I
her.
said. I was like, I'm trying to have a good time like her. But no, it was a good time. We tried to get our kids a shirt. They've each gone to their first concert now. We tried to get each of them a shirt from their first concert, just kind of a little keepsake. It's just something we started doing. And it just so happens that Post Malone's name of his tour is called the Big Ass Stadium Tour.
Oh,
So now my youngest child has it just says Big Ass Stadium right across his shirt. He rocks it. And I'm like, you know what? It fits. Like, have a good time, man. But
they
anyway,
sold it in the youth size. It's
I
fine.
totally forgot where we were even going.
So wait,
Before we
you
were
don't
talking about
listen to
Post
Kids
Malone.
Bop? You don't let them listen to the Kids Bop version?
Well, you got Spotify. Like, you can go anybody on Spotify now. You can just type in the artist name and just put clean behind it, and somebody's
Yeah.
made a playlist that's
Yeah.
got all their clean versions. So if I'm DJing and we're in the car or something like that, that's what I'm doing. But that record, no, it's full explicit, and the kids love. They know how to like drop the needle in the mornings when they're
Yeah.
getting ready for school and stuff.
Oh, it's like a vinyl record, like a actual record.
But it's legit, and yeah, it was like four records, and because it's all of his songs that have gone diamond, the color of the vinyl is like that diamondy kind of color. It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
I might have to get that.
Fun times. It's a winner. Yeah. I can't remember. I think it's called the Diamond album. Well, I forget how long he's been doing it. Like his White Iverson, right? The classic.
I think
the
that was my
original.
freshman year of college is when that came out.
I was in college. I think it might have been my junior, senior year of college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember bumping that. And, now 10 years later, however long it's been for my kids to be able to listen to, now he's doing like different genres and stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's got a solid collection, and it's good for all ages. Like my kids love it. And then that 75-year-old lady at the concert was loving it. So it'd be real nice if Posty could hear this clip sometime and pay us a little visit or something. That'd be
Yeah.
super clutch. But
Yeah, that'd
seems
be
like a
awesome.
great dude.
Yeah, he does. He
But
does.
we were leaving AT&T, and it was a sellout show. So 70,000 people are trying to all leave at the same time, and we're all kind of the way AT&T is. If you're coming down from the upper deck, it's these giant ramps that literally go all the way down. And we weren't in we weren't in the 400s or whatever's at the top, but we had really good seats actually, especially for the last song. But anyway, we pop out. We're in this water community. Like each of us have got, I got 3 kids, so like each of us, and we went with a big group, so everybody's got like a kid. And we're just trying to get back to the parking lot, and they had this fence up dividing the highway, so like forcing you to only cross at the crosswalks. Which again, public safety, I get it. But I'm scanning and I see this opening in the fence. I'm like, boom, we'll just cut through right there. Life will be good. Shorter walk over to where we parked it at. So we get all the way up to where this opening in the fence was. It turns out it was not a designated opening. Somebody had just knocked that portion of the fence over, and now like the Walking Dead people are just like storming over it. And right as I'm pulling my youngest one across the fence, this cop comes up and is just giving me the business. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, we were already over it before I even realized what was going on, but nah, it was a good time. It was a good time. With 10 out of 10, would recommend a Post Malone concert, guys.
That reminds me at the Savannah Banana Games, just you talking about moving through that crowd. The total dad move of leaving a stadium, a crowded event. And there was this dad that walked in front of us. He had one kid by his hand. That kid was holding the next kid's hand. That kid was holding the next kid's hand. And he just starts yelling, stay tight. We're going. Let's go. Starts weaving through.
Dads leaving a packed out event, like, I think they could go and lead some military troops. Like, you want to talk about some coordination, and it just comes like once you've got kids, like it's just like this instinct in us that they stay tight. Hey, why are you I need you at my 6, like you might as well be getting suited and booted and helping us out or something like that in the military.
Well, I feel like, it's the dads after the stress of just getting everybody ready there in the seats. They probably enjoy it for like 10 minutes, and the rest of it, they're just thinking about how they're going to leave.
It's just a constant anxiety attack. And then they got to figure out, like, do we stay all the way to the end? Do we try to bail out early?
If
like,
we
what's a
leave
good
5
time to
minutes
leave?
early, we might beat the traffic and we might be good.
God, dads in the traffic. I tell you what's a saver on that is Waze, like how it automatically updates the paths and stuff. Shout out to Waze.
Yeah, that's nice.
Nah, man, it was a good time. But circling back to spring ball, sorry, went off on a tear.
I forgot.
Love Post Malone, but you talk about trying to get guys better and stuff. Like, how long do y'all usually schedule out your spring practices?
So this year's something new we've done. So Monday and Wednesdays, we actually do a short lift and then go practice Tuesday, Thursday, straight to the field. And the Monday, Wednesday, you still want to get them in there lifting because not all of them have weightlifting class.
Yeah.
And summer, that's like a main focus is getting stronger, getting in better shape, that kind of thing. Monday and Wednesdays, we usually go lift. So we get out at 325. We start the weights at 335 and it runs till about 4:15, somewhere around there. And then we go to the field
Mhm.
and we're usually wrapping up about 5:30. And then, the Tuesday, Thursdays is 335. Of course, Palmetto's really spread out. So it may be more 340, just depending on how kids can get there. And then we wrap up about 5:30. So usually about 2 hours worth of doing something.
Yeah. That's not too bad. That's kind of like us. Like, if it's a day, like this year, I thought we did a really good job of managing how much physicality. Like, if we had a really heavy Monday, like if we're going 30, 40 team reps, full contact on Monday, like that Tuesday, we're going to really dial it back and it's going to be a
Yeah.
lot more indie time. It's going to be 7-on-7 or some one-on-ones, no real click clacking out there. Then we might circle back on that Thursday and get some more heavy team, get some good film in. And we try to build those film and lift days throughout the weeks. Kind of how we did it this year was Monday morning. The older guys would show up at 7:15 to get the film and lift. 7:15 defense might be film until about 7:45, 7:50, and then they flip with offense, and then try to get them on to if they have a first period, try to get them out by 8:30 or something before that bell rings. Wednesday lift only in the afternoons, lift and film, and then we do Friday afternoons were only film and lift. So, like you said, like you want to try to find that balance of getting better on the football field with spring practice and stuff, but it's still a part of off season technically. And
Yeah.
so, like you said, it's all about getting bigger, stronger, faster, and carry this thing right on into the summer. So
Yeah. So y'all watch, I'm assuming y'all are watching you film practice and you're watching that practice film, or y'all watching
yeah,
old
that's
games,
what we
that
do.
kind of thing. Yeah. See,
No, we watch.
I wish we were able to film practice. I mean, it's feasible, but we would need an extra set of hands. And if
Yeah,
you're a student at Palmetto and you want to volunteer, I'll try to get you some gear or something. Love to have somebody help us with that.
dude, managers are so clutch. Like they're so
Yeah.
invaluable. Like valuable to an organization. Sorry, but and we've had a good run, man. I think shoot, we got this one manager. Unfortunately, he graduates this year. I know he's going to do great in life, but I need to give him some of my stipend because
Yeah.
I'm in the box on Friday nights. Our end zone camera, we bought a new one, thankfully, but our end zone camera, we use it every day at practice, use it at the games. Like the more you bring that thing in and out, the more stuff can break on it and all that. I'll never forget. There was one game we were playing, and we were playing North Mesquite High School, and we're in pregame warmups and it's like 7:30 kick, so it might be like 7:20, 7:23. Like we're getting close, and I see North Mesquite's kicker warming up, kicking field goals, and the ball like just smacked the tower of our end zone camera, and the whole thing shook. And then you just see like bits, and then the phone starts blowing up
Yeah.
from our manager, and he's like, "Yeah, that some dad said it got hit. Now they're saying it doesn't look like they're seeing anything on the screen." And I'm just sitting there like, if I got a rundown, and I wish I could show a picture of Mesquite High School Stadium because it's one of those like giant Texas high school
Yeah.
football stadiums. Like I can't get down there in less than 10 minutes. Like it is a hike. Uh, so I'm on the phone with him, and thankfully he'd been doing it for a couple of years. He had that thing rigged up, ready to roll. But yeah, dude, manager's so clutch. We've had probably 5 to 6, I would say,
Yeah.
every year. And so when we go out there with practice, we do a wide, a tight, and an end zone on our team stuff. If O-line, D-line are doing some pod work or something, we'll run just the end zone on that. 7-on-7 is just the wide. If we have to go in the indoor, it's not as nice, but we use the end zone camera as our wide. Roll it
Yeah.
up till that thing's scraping the ceiling and just get a good wide profile there.
Yeah.
And then we'll use a butt camera. But yeah, we try to get as much practice tape as possible and
So
correct those mistakes.
speaking of the managers, I actually one thing I'm trying to do is start a class called, it's like athletic operations and leadership, or basically a sports management class. A,
Heck yeah.
because I think that's something kids are interested in.
Absolutely. I
B,
would have taken that.
100%. B, if you were like me in high school, you were decent. You had the chance to go play at some smaller schools, but that's not what I wanted to do. So I went and worked for Clemson's football team. And I just want them to see that there are options beyond only playing. Like, a lot of them think if I'm not playing, it's a
Yeah.
bust. I'm like, you have operations, video, equipment,
Oh,
athletic training, all these departments now.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Shoot. With NIL now, you got folks that you could get intern with, those financial advisors stuff
yeah,
that,
yeah.
they're helping out with.
So I'm trying to start that class so that I think it's something kids will like, and B, I think it opens a lot of doors for them, and C, it can really help our athletic programs across the board.
Yeah.
Because a part of that
Yeah.
class would be like an internship where you sign on with a sport and you help them with XYZ. For football, it could be having somebody help us film practices and that kind of thing. And, basketball, it could be whatever they need. I don't know. That's, up to the coach, but trying to get that started. So if you are a student at Palmetto watching this clip, I need you to comment whatever you can do right now and let me know if that's something you'd be interested in so I can show that there's a lot of interest in this, okay?
Yeah.
So
Let's
do me
make
a
it
favor
happen.
with that. But, I've talked to our admin and they're supportive of it. It's just kind of, working it into scheduling, which is a nightmare always. But
Yeah, yeah. I think what makes it nice for us is because our managers get put into the athletic period.
yeah,
Now you can get your PE credit being a manager for the team.
yeah,
And so usually we get them when they're freshmen, right? And they're trying to just get that PE credit knocked out. And then they enjoy it. And so they
yeah,
stay on 3-4 years and they get the Letterman jacket and they come to the football banquets and they get to eat good on a Friday night. And
yep. And
like you said, you get valuable skills like
yeah.
in ways other than just playing football.
And like I said, if you're a student at Palmetto High School and you want to help now, let me know. Come see me and I will get you a shirt. You'll eat with us. I'll take care of you. All right. I'll do everything I can to make it worthwhile, but I think you would really enjoy it. But
Yeah, our coach
yeah,
that's in charge of our equipment managers, he does a great job. He's got a whole snack cabinet for them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I will hook
really
you up.
takes care of them because they do a lot of leg. Like when we bring them in on Saturdays and it's time to wash all that game laundry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys put their work in. They deserve all the credit in the world for it. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's
it's so valuable to an organization having a good group of student help.
yeah. I really hope we can get that kind of going. And I think it will. It just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, once you get it started, get it rolling. Like you said, get people signed up. The pipeline will start
Yeah.
flowing
And what's
for sure.
interesting is the PE credit y'all do. That, I might have to look into that. I'm not sure if the state would allow it here, but there might be not a loophole, but a workaround, something like that. But
Call it on paper you could call it some kind of health or something class or sports something class, and who knows, there might be like a loophole like you said.
yeah, have to see. But no, I just thought you were talking about y'all done with spring ball, and y'all said you just maxed today. Is that right?
We did today. We maxed out on bench and broad jump, and then we'll do tomorrow, or actually we might save that till Friday. We'll do incline and deadlift. We always try to do some kind of upper lower and try not to. We probably won't
Yeah.
incline tomorrow just because we benched today. But yeah, by the end of this week, hopefully we have new maxes on all of our guys. And man, it's maxing it's a fun time. It's an exciting time. Kids get to hopefully see some of their work they put in pay off. But some kids like got the wrong idea about how much those numbers jump. Like if on a quarterly basis you're increasing your max like 10 pounds, 5 to 15 pounds. Like to me, that's a win. Like our
Yeah.
maxes are going up slow and steady, and then you just keep stacking those days, right? But we had a guy today. I was looking after 2 racks, and I'm going back and forth so I can keep track. We do a 1, 2, 3 rep max. So
Yeah.
I'm keeping track if he actually did it right or what the technique good, all that kind of stuff. Was the spotter helping him, all that.
Right.
And this kid had gotten whatever the weight was, 160 pounds, whatever it was. He had repped it 2 times. So on our conversion chart, it's like, all right, that's about a 170 max. You could put 165 on and try to do it 2-3 times, or you could do 170 and try to get it, twice. We're trying to give him some options there, right? Turn back around. This kid's got 185 on the bar. And so we're talking a 25-pound jump right there. And just gets absolutely smoked. And
Of course. Yeah.
so I give him my suggestion, and and I go back to this other rack, and we get back around. We get him 3 attempts at the maxes. Come back around to him. He just got smoked on 185. Got 200 pounds on the bar. I was like, buddy, like, this is nowhere. He's like, no, coach, I did it. Like, I did it two mornings ago. I know I can. I'm like, you just got crushed on 185. Like, why don't we try to get something a little more attainable? Your number's still going to go up. Life will be good. No, he just was so hard headed. I'm like, you know what, buddy? Like, at this point, try it out. Let's see what happens. This is your last attempt. Like, let's see what happens. And
Make sure
you can
you're
imagine.
behind him, buddy. Like, go ahead and spot him.
Yeah,
too, 'cause he's
I was
gonna-
like, hey, spotters, like, let me make sure I got side spotters, back spotter. Like, go ahead. Like, we already know where this is going. And sure enough, like, gets folded. But
yeah,
man,
No,
some of these
it's-
kids,
these
it's
kids
crazy.
lifting, man, it can be a liability sometimes because, see, we have the charts. You go off the chart. Go off the chart.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah,
It's
just read the
literally
charts.
right
Not
there.
that hard.
This kid comes up to me in the middle of a lift. It's front squats. He goes, I don't think I can get that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't think I can get that. And I look. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, that. 315 on the bar. And I'm like, and this kid plays corner. He's like, he's not big. I'm not saying he's small, but he ain't 315 front squat big, And I'm like,
That's grown man weight. You 315 on front squat. That's,
Yeah, he's
that's
like-
impressive.
He's like, I don't think I got that. And I'm like, I know you don't got that. Like, are you using the chart? And he was like, I mean, yeah, but I just saw them do it. So I just wanted to see if I could do it. I'm like, you're not going to be able to do it, man. You're going to kill yourself doing that. Like, what do you think? Your ego is this big. Just lock in and
Good
use
gosh.
the chart. The chart
Good
is
gosh.
there for a reason. And if you follow the chart over the 8-week, whatever program, you will see improvement, but you have to
Yeah.
follow the chart.
We did all the thinking, so you don't have to.
Yes.
Like, the chart literally spits it out. Like, as long as at the end of this quarter, we're up 5 to 15 pounds, like, and you got those anomalies that shoot up 20, 25 pounds.
Yeah.
But like, that's on the extreme end. Like, that's not a realistic, if you're going up 10, 15 pounds each quarter, like, it stacks, man. Like,
And it reminds me of like the kids who like I see them in the hall. They tell me they're going to play football,
Yeah.
but they don't show up to weightlifting. And I'm like, where were you at yesterday, man? And he's like, oh, yeah, whatever lame reason it's not true. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to be in there, man. Football's coming up, and you're going to be weaker than everybody, and you're going to notice it. He goes, no, I've been working out on my own. I'm like, okay.
God,
You're telling me that and I'm not bashing on our local, gym. That's fine. Do your thing. But
yeah, do your thing.
if you're doing this by yourself as a 16-year-old high school kid, I promise you that it is not, empirically
It's not the
based
same.
on evidence like the structure of the program we have here. Like,
Yeah, and those
you're going
guys that are going to the personal gym are probably doing like bench 5 days
Yeah,
a week.
you're
like,
doing like ego lifts. Like, come on, man. Like, and that's why you're going to come out here like this but can't move. And you're going to wonder what happened. It's because you've only done curls. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like,
curls for the girls come back to haunt you.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we had this kid one time. He told us he was not going to attend summer weights. Again, we use a company to come in and run our stuff over the summer, and it comes out to like $5 to $6 a workout for the kids for the whole summer. Anyway, this kid said he wasn't going to do it, that he had a personal trainer he was going to go to all summer and yada, yada. And we talk him up now, like, got to lift with a team. You need to lift with a team. Like, unless you are literally out of the country, like if you're in Forney, Texas, like, you lift with the team. And whatever the excuses might be, we will make some work, but you lift with the team. Anyway, he's going to go lift with his personal trainer at the Planet Fitness or wherever up the road. And at the time, because I like doing the stair climber and stuff, I had a membership up there. And so I was going, just about every day to go get some stair climber and get my sauna in. This is before I bought the one for the coach's locker. And I saw him there. And so I'm on the Stairmaster and I'm just like, keep my eye on. Like, I got to see how this kid's doing. And he's there with his dad, and there was the personal trainer there, and they were going to the old, chest press machine.
yeah.
Like the robot deal where you're just kind of doing this. And dad gets up there, and his dad hit like, 5, 6 reps, whatever it was. And dad takes the clip and moves it all the way bottom, trying to get the weight up there. He's like, go ahead, get on here, show him how it's done. And the kid, he's a string bean. Like you said, he might be 115 pounds soaking wet. And so he gets there, he gets locked and loaded. And that thing does not move, like, does not budge. And I'm like, good Lord, like, there is no science to this. Like, it is just, like you said, ego lifting and working on the machines. And again, I've been to a community gym or whatever. I've used machines before. I'm not knocking it. But if we're trying to get better for football, you got to lift with your team.
Yeah. There's another, like, that reminds me, another thing I hear a lot that kind of bothers me is that these kids will, and I'm not knocking on these sports. I don't want you to think I'm knocking on these other sports because you should do what you want to do. But like AAU basketball, like they tell me, oh, I'm not done with AAU yet, or I'm doing this XYZ. I'm like, dude, you're doing the same thing all year long.
Yeah, like, are you really becoming a well-rounded athlete, just doing the same movement, same this? And again, for the skill work, I understand you're going to get better ball handling if
Yeah,
you dribble every day.
yeah,
That's makes so. But you don't think those guys in the NBA are lifting like while they're also training for
right.
basketball? Like they think just because they're doing tournament basketball, baseball, whatever, that they can't go touch a weight for
Yeah,
6 months or 7
it's like,
months.
what are
And
you talking about?
yeah,
And
they just
it's frustrating because do you not realize the statistics behind multi-sport athletes versus single sport athletes in college football or college baseball or college basketball, next level athletics? Like multi-sport athletes have more success statistically
no
as a
doubt,
fact.
no doubt.
And you're well-rounded. If you're doing all these things, you're just a more well-rounded athlete, and that's going to
Yeah.
help you in whatever sport you do. And they don't
Yeah,
realize
and
that.
it proves you're a gamer. Like it proves that no matter the contest, like you've
Yeah.
got some grasp on. And different sports teach you different things, right? Like, yeah, I wouldn't go and trust a DB that's never even thought about doing any kind of basketball. Like basketball teaches you some good stuff about, being in charge of a zone to cover and all this and that, and guarding a guy man to man and moving your feet and all that kind of stuff. Like you said, like just having those different skills and different experiences makes
Yeah, it's
you
like
well rounded.
yeah, and, like, it's like one sport all year, like, even a machine will break if it doesn't shift
Yeah,
gears, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, you're gonna get burnt out eventually, it's coming, and I'm not saying you should play every sport you wanna play, I encourage you to play multiple sports, like, don't do football the entire year. Don't do basketball
Nobody's telling you to do that. Good Lord.
year-round football doesn't really exist other than, like, 7-on-7 stuff, but, like, do everything you wanna do, but, like, you need a break from it too, man, and
Yeah.
it's just these kids, they got this pipe dream, and I'm not saying they can't achieve these goals, but they wanna play whatever it is, basketball at the next level, so they only do basketball, and I'm like, I mean, so much more benefit to doing different sports throughout the year.
But yeah, and
It's just frustrating.
even if the different sports, it's like for us, for example, like we encourage powerlifting and track are like, if you don't have another sport, those are your other sports. Like,
Yeah,
so when powerlifting comes around, if you're a pretty strong skill player and definitely a lineman, we got you doing the powerlifting stuff in the morning, hitting our off season stuff in the afternoon. Obviously, the powerlifting coaches are football coaches too. They know what lifts to kind of make sure they're doing on different days.
yeah,
And we got some kids that get extremely strong doing that. And then for dang sure, like if you're a skill player, you're de facto on the track team. Like you were on the track team,
yeah,
whether it's the JV and all that, that's a whole other story. But even like the college coaches that come around and are recruiting our guys, like one of the first things they want to hear is they could care less about you saying you run a 4.5 in your Twitter profile.
yeah,
They want to hear what were your track times were, because they know when you go to a track meet in Texas, like there's
it's legit.
lasers,
Yeah,
there's people that are about their business, and so they want to know your track times. And like I coach outside linebackers, we don't got anybody that's like blazing fast, but he runs the 100 in this, he runs the 200 in this. Like he's also 5'10", 200 pounds and strong as crap. Like he's
yeah,
a good athlete. It's
yeah,
just more evidence and more stuff for an athlete to put on their resume if they do have those dreams of going and playing
yeah, and
college at whatever level.
it even goes beyond athletics, like, if you play football and baseball or whatever, and you think you can't do these things at school because of a sport, you're wrong. Like the school
Yeah.
exists before the sport, and it
Yeah.
looks way better on paper if you're applying for college or whatever, that you were in beta club, that you did student council, that you did yearbook, that you did whatever it is on top of everything. And you may think you don't have time, but I promise you have the most free time right now in your life that you will ever
Yes.
have. Okay.
Yes.
You think school is a job, get ready because life is coming for you hard. All right.
Yeah. It
It's
never
yeah.
ends, man.
No,
I got home
it's
today after, got to school, whatever time I got there this morning, 6 o'clock, whatever it was. Get home at 5:30, after we got all that stuff knocked out. And as soon as I get home, it's boom, 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 this. I got to take it. The gate of the fence is broken.
yeah.
That's something I got to go work on.
Yeah.
like you said, like you got more free time now than you will ever have.
Yeah.
And so like the busier you stay now actually gets you ready for that more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like whenever you do get into the real world and are
Yeah.
doing stuff on your own.
And I had this discussion with our FFA teacher the other day. Shout out Mr. McCannon, and he agrees with me. You know, we have some football kids that do FFA, and I was talking to him like, look, we're in the off season right now because he was worried about a kid missing a football thing for an FFA thing, and I'm like, no, like he needs to do that. Like we're in the off season. It's not like he's gonna miss major game plan whatever right now. Go do your FFA because that's important as well. Like it makes you a well-rounded student, which leads to better outcomes in terms of whatever you want to do outside of high school. But these kids sometimes
And
get lost.
if you talk about getting school paid for, like there's so much money in programs like FFA
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
being in different leadership groups and stuff like that. Like there's so much money where you ain't just banking on some school giving you a full ride for football, because there's a lot of football players in this country that are high school age, and yeah, there's some really good ones out there, and you might be the better one in a small pond, but I guarantee you there's guys that are better out there, and
Yep.
it's just hard for them
And
to fathom.
you can even get money for things like having perfect attendance. You can get money for that. You
Yeah.
don't know how I know? Because I did it. 12 years, perfect attendance. It ain't that hard to go to school. And I'm really on my, my hill right now, but I'll die on this hill because these kids think school is so hard when all you have to do is wake up, go. And if you go, you will
If
probably
you
pass.
Yes,
Just
if you just
go
turn
and stay
something
awake.
in, if you are there
Yes.
and you just turn something in,
Yes.
you are doing enough to probably just pass right
Yeah.
there. Now, are you gonna have 100? Maybe not, probably not. But yeah, like you said, you'll get that diploma. Like
Yeah, and they act like it's so hard. They don't have time for this. They don't have time for that. I'm like, you have all the time in the world. Like they're talking about
that's
working. They're like, oh, I got to go to work. Where you work, yada yada. Well, yeah, you work a lot, a couple hours. I'm like, and that's a lot. That's a
yeah.
lot for
I
you.
work at the ice cream. I work at the ice cream food truck,
Yeah,
and I work 2 hours every evening, or I
dang.
work 6 hours on a Saturday when you ain't doing nothing else anyway. Yeah, it's
No, it's really not. And
fun times.
maybe that you know how our mom was. Maybe that's just kind of how she was. Get
Sounds like she
over it,
rubbed off
move
on you.
on.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Love you. But I mean, I went to school with salmonella poisoning in like 4th grade because I didn't want to get an absence.
I
Talk
think I went
about
to school with pink eye in like second or third grade. Went to school with
yeah,
pink eye.
yeah. And
Got counted there, and then they sent me right out.
like I threw up in the bathroom at school and waited so that I could meet the threshold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Well, it was like 10:30. Like if you were there at like 10:30, like
Yeah.
you're good for the whole day. All right, I'm out. I'm
And
deuces.
it's actually a funny story. I'll tell it real quick. It was a music class in elementary school. I think it was Miss Whitworth. Shout out Miss Whitworth, Cedar Grove. I don't know if she's still doing it over there, but she had a sub, and I'm sitting on the risers, like the mini bleachers in the music room, and I'm sitting there. She's taking attendance, and I'm like, I threw up on the way to school. I'm not feeling good. It was a salmonella outbreak in Peter Pan peanut butter, and I'm sitting there just like, it's coming, it's coming. You get that feeling. She's taking roll. She gets past me. I have to wait for like the entire rest of the class. I raise my hand. She's like, yes, sir. I'm like, can I use the restroom, please? She goes, just let me finish attendance 1 second. And I'm like, hey, it ain't gonna be, I don't have a second to spare. So I just got up and started walking towards the door, like open the door. I'm walking out. She goes, hey, turn, I look. She goes, I understand. You can go. I went and threw up all over
Man,
that bathroom. But no, it's not that hard. Just be at school. You got kids failing because of absences. Like, wake up. Wake
yes.
up.
Wake up and get there. Wake up and get there. It'll
Not
all
that
be all
hard.
right,
Yeah. God.
man.
These kids are
Yeah.
frustrating.
So yeah, we're on the downward swing now. And it's kind of, I think our seniors and all that are turning their stuff in. And now they're starting to get a little sentimental about it, like, oh man, I
Yeah.
kind of miss this place. Well, we tried telling you, like, enjoy.
Yeah.
It's a blur. Like, you got now,
Get
hopefully
ready,
the
buddy.
next 70, 80 years, like, you got to make this thing ride.
Yep.
Poor Johnny, who was acting a fool all year, now he's got to be working 80 to 100 hours a week, manual labor,
Yeah.
like, because he wanted to
Get
be the
ready.
class clown.
Get ready. You think
Yeah.
8 a.m.'s early. Get ready for about 5:30 every day.
Yep.
But
Yep.
no, I forgot what I was gonna say. I had something. Oh yeah, it is winding now. We graduate tomorrow. Graduation
Wow.
is tomorrow, so I get to sleep in a
Wow.
little bit.
And y'all
But
still got a whole other week of school after that?
for underclassmen, yeah. But shout out Palmetto High School class of 2025. Go on, do great things. Love y'all. But yeah, we're winding down, man, and you can tell because the kids are acting crazy. Like
Hey,
today,
you want to talk
let me tell you,
about? Yeah, let's hear it.
it's a fourth block. You know who you are. No names needed. We just got done with CPR in classes, so our curriculum is kind of done. We're on the end of things, so I'm letting them have some free time. Well, I'm at my computer in the gym in the corner, and there's one door that leads outside that is glass, double paned, right? It has two panels of glass. Well, I hear this noise, like something hitting metal, and then it gets quiet. And that's when you know. If the kids
Yeah,
get quiet,
yeah.
something
They
happened,
get
right?
quiet, something happened.
I look up, and there's just glass all in the floor. And I'm like, this is the second time this has happened this semester. I wasn't there the first time, so I don't know what happened then, but a basketball was kicked into a glass door, and we are shocked that it busted. Like, I don't understand. There's three things wrong here. Maybe two. A, why are you kicking a basketball? That's literally not what that's for. On you. B, why do we have glass doors in the gym? That just
Yeah,
doesn't seem like the
yeah,
best,
yeah. That raises some eyebrows. Things that make you go, all right.
Yeah, so maybe we replace it with metal this time because, it's already happened. This is the second time, but I was so mad sweeping up that glass because now there's just a hole in this door, and a raccoon might get in. Who knows? Well, I guess I'll see in the morning. But oh man,
Yeah, should be a good time. We've had field mice get in here. They're building so many subdivisions around us and all that I guess the local animal population gets yeah, they got to move out of their situation. But anyway, we've had mice in the offices before. Shoot, we were out there waiting for first period practice to start one day, and I saw a skunk literally run all the way across the turf field of the baseball complex, and I was like, that thing looks like it's beelining for us. Like, we might be stretching on the far end zone, but thankfully it swerved off. But nah, man, like springtime, yeah, it's just something gets in the water, something gets in the air. The hormone, the sun shines out, the testosterone's going. Yeah, probably the funniest springtime story. One of the funnier springtime stories in a school. We had this dice shooting epidemic. Kids shooting dice in the bathroom, like for money. Like it escalated quickly. Where
it's
are we
like
are? Yeah, this ain't South Dallas. Like we're out in the suburbs. Like what we doing?
what's the Moneybag Yo like lyric in what's it? Run It Up, the song Run It Up. He says like shot dice in the schoolhouse for the Jays or something like
Spot
that.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
Do y'all get BOLO emails like sent to the whole faculty? Be on the lookout. Do y'all
yeah.
get
Oh,
those?
of course. Yeah, right now it's the putting the lead in the Chromebooks, making them smoke. You seen that?
I have not seen that. I ain't
Yeah,
seen
so
that one. What goes on? Like what's the whole deal with that?
what goes on in their heads, I don't know, but what they do is they take this like a mechanical pencil, they take the lead out of it, the little stick of lead, right? In the USB port, and this is not me telling you how to do it. This is me informing other
Explaining what's
teachers.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get caught doing this, you in trouble, all right? And you might probably have to pay for that Chromebook, but they stick it in the USB and I guess they touch, in between two metal prongs, whatever, and it starts smoking. And for some reason that's fun. I don't know. But yeah, they do it and it's caused fires, or not fires, but like huge plumes of smoke in some places, not at Palmetto, but
Good Lord.
it's like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
I don't this kid didn't do that. Not that I know of. I think it was just a freak accident. But sometimes those Chromebooks can get a little haywire anyway. Like we had this was a few years ago, literally good kid. Like I think it might have been a AP or honors class. He's just sitting there chilling, and the Chromebook just boom, like just spark, like pop, like
Jeez.
not like a big explosion or anything, but it was like a fire, like the
Yeah.
fire alarms and all that stuff going off, and
Yeah.
obviously some kid had a camera rolling, so the video got around the school and all that. I saw it, but yeah, just
I mean,
I don't know.
Chromebooks are
Sometimes
pretty janky anyway, but it's
it
not
is what it
theirs.
is.
It's not
Yeah,
yours to be
yeah.
sticking lead
It's
in.
not theirs, and they pump out, I don't even know how many millions of those things, on a yearly basis. There's not I can't imagine there's a ton of quality control on the Chromebooks and the hardware and all that. Because my go-to because kids probably, well, you're in a gym, so it might be a little different, but it's Chromebook. Like, I might as well be in IT department in my
Yeah,
class. Like, I gotta fix a
yeah,
Chromebook every period, or something's wrong with the Chromebook every period. My go-to is always just turn it off, turn it back on.
yeah.
That works about 80% of the time, but sometimes it's just like, man, I don't know. You got to take it to somebody else. Like, I can't
Yeah.
fix this.
What gets me is my work laptop, the one they provided, like a Dell. I don't know what it is, but
Mhm.
you turn that thing on, and God forbid you try to open Canva or something that requires the little least bit of RAM or memory. That thing sounds like it's about to take off. Like it's
Thing
like,
is humming.
and it's getting hot, and you're
Uh,
like, all right, hold on, all right, relax.
Sound
But
like a jet taking off.
yeah, and these kids, you probably get this a lot more than I do. But when we do a health lesson or CPR or whatever that's on the Chromebook, I always get oh, I don't have my charger. And it's like, I got a charger you can use. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
well, my Chromebook, I don't have my Chromebook. I'm like, I got a Chromebook you can use. And they're just like, all right, never mind. And they just grab their Chromebook and their charger out of the bag. I'm like,
yeah, I've seen that one before.
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Times are hard though when like the one that you lend out to kids goes missing. Like, I had this one for 2 years that was my go-to. Like, kid didn't have it. Boom. I got you, buddy. Let's get to work. And man, something in the last month or so, it just like up and went. I don't know what happened to it, but times are hard, man. We're just trying to get to June. But
Yeah, trying to
well,
make it, man. That reminded me, this is not about Chromebooks. I don't know why it popped in my head, but let me tell you, this kid walks up to me, and this might just be like, what is a random occurrence you've ever had? Walks up to me and asks if he could go to the bathroom and wash his hands. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but okay. And I look up, and he's doing this number. He's like, yeah, and he had colored his entire hand with like Expo marker on both, two
in
different
high
colors
school,
in high school.
good
And he looks
lord.
at me, he's like, so can I go wash my hands? And I was like, yeah, what is going on here? Like, what are you thinking? He's like, I just got bored, so I just colored my hands.
Buddy, there's bored and there's just like, I don't even know what that is. Like,
Oh,
that's on your
yeah.
deathbed right there with
There.
boredom. Good
Well,
lord.
all right. Just settle something for me. It was our debate of the week in my
All right.
class. You being a Palmetto graduate, we grew up in Williamston. We were in that school when we were kids because mom was working over the summer, whatever.
Yeah.
Can you please confirm to these kids that there is a pool under Palmetto High School?
Talking about when you go back behind the old gym, there was like that little stairwell near the Air Force or ROTC rooms and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Swimming pool. You go down the
Thank you.
stairwell. It's way down there.
I try to tell y'all they don't listen, but thank you. Appreciate it.
Letting the cats out of the bag. Well,
Right.
we've hit the hour mark, Jack. I appreciate your time this week. I know with spring ball going on, you're probably exhausted. I know it's 10 o'clock there back home, but appreciate you jumping on here.
Yeah.
For you guys listening, as always, be sure to hit that 5-star review for us. Drop some comments. Let us know some topics you'd like for us to cover. A couple public educators, a couple football coaches from small town America in totally different states now. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. But we always appreciate you guys tuning in, and y'all have a good one.